It don't even sound, I want to put her on blast because she was telling me, she was saying to me that what I was asking for was crazy and they wasn't spending money like that. I'm talking about you got footage, you got clothing, you got, I was doing footage, I had pictures, all the stuff that I had, you could figure out a way to pay a brother and stuff like that. And then I was telling her about some prices that I've already received and I had the invoices to show it. And then she was calling me like I was lying. I'm like, yo, who do you think you talking to? You know what I'm saying? And she was talking about, there's no way nobody paid. Nobody what? I say, first of all you people come with these documentaries and stuff, the first thing you tell me, y'all tell these people out here that y'all don't pay, and y'all pay. If you can make a picture look like $10,000, $15,000, you know what I'm saying? You can sit here and tell me that you're gonna pay me for my time sitting right down here with y'all. You understand? So then, one thing led to another, and I was like, all right, well then, F you, I spoke to 50, and then she said 50, and this is exact words that came out her mouth. 50 does not determine what goes in and goes out of this documentary.
Gene Deal just broke his silence, and the claims he's dropping are wild, like career-shaking wild. He says the Netflix doc about Diddy left the most explosive footage on the cutting room floor, and now he's ready to share what 50 Cent couldn't show, which, if accurate, could flip the whole story on its head fast. You clicked for the raw version, and that's what Gene swears he's bringing as Diddy's former bodyguard who saw the parties, the deals, and the chaos up close for years. He finally sat down and made it clear he's done keeping quiet, and he's laying out why the doc didn't include his side like people expected. Gene says he was supposed to be in the Netflix project from day one, even talking with 50 for about 45 minutes to map things out. But the energy allegedly shifted when the director disrespected him, so he walked out, just like that. Now he's revealing the stories that never made the screen, and some of the accusations he's raising are intense and sensitive, so we're keeping them framed as allegations and first-hand claims only. He says he's ready to speak on City College, Anthony Wolf Jones, what he believes really happened with Kim Porter, and why certain celebrities stayed far from the project altogether. All the things Gene says didn't make the cut. Before diving into the alleged receipts, he wants people to understand the behind-the-scenes tension, because it was way more heated than viewers realized.
What I feel about the documentary, they left a whole lot of key things out. If they was gonna do something and they're gonna say in the reckoning of Sean Combs, the reckoning, or Diddy, the reckoning and stuff like that, it should have been a lot of people that we lost because of him. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't only Big, it wasn't only Tupac, you understand? For the atmosphere that he put those kids in. You got a guy named Anthony Wolf Jones, who was from Bad Boy, from its conception as doing security and being one of the financiers of Puff having to have some money to keep Big and Craig Mack around before he got to Clyde Davis.
Netflix and 50 Cent dropped Sean Combs' The Reckoning, and it shot to #1, which had everyone debating it nonstop. But Gene argues the most crucial stories were left out, and that's where things get real, in his words. He spent years in Diddy's orbit as security, and he claims he's been holding on to footage and receipts, waiting for the moment to tell his timeline straight. Gene even recounted a heated exchange about compensation and respect for his materials, pictures, clothing, footage, and says he had invoices from past projects to back up his rates. He claims the director accused him of lying about what he'd been paid before, which he took as straight disrespect. And that's when he decided he was out. He also claims the director told him word for word that 50 does not determine what goes in and goes out of this documentary, suggesting 50's name was more for marketing, which Gene took personally and professionally as a problem. He says he wanted to bring in Tim and Kirk Burrows to tell the whole timeline, early hustle, street era, and the build into a music empire. But when the business talks got messy, he bounced. According to Gene, that's why viewers felt big gaps, because the guy who says he held the deepest timeline refused to participate after feeling dismissed. He insists he's now ready to show what didn't make it. And if even part of it holds up, the narrative people think they know might not be the full picture. Gene says the doc missed the heart of how Bad Boy was set up, and that detail changes how everything else reads, legally and historically. He points to Kirk Burrows, stating he owned 25% of Bad Boy while Diddy held 75%. But here's the twist Gene highlights. The company allegedly wasn't under Diddy's name. It was listed under his mother, Janice Combs, Why structure it like that? Optics or protection? Or both? According to Gene, it was to shield Diddy from legal liability after the City College tragedy, where 9 adults lost their lives and families prepared lawsuits, which, in Gene's telling, made personal insulation a priority. None of this is a court finding. These are claims and recollections. But if true, it adds a layer of cold strategy to the business story. Gene also points to Kirk Burroughs' allegation that Diddy later wanted his 25% and that a baseball bat and pressure were involved, an account Kirk himself has said publicly, followed by a 2003 lawsuit that was reportedly dismissed for being too late. If you sit with that, the picture is rough. Kirk helps build the brand and then says he got pushed out, his claim, while the empire kept growing without him. The documentary mentioned this, but Gene says they barely scratched it, and he insists he could have walked viewers through the full structure, why the company name placement mattered, how financial decisions tied to legal pressure, and why early moves echo through the later fallout. He says those blueprint pieces make the later chaos make more sense. And then there's Anthony Wolf Jones, a name Gene says the doc sidestepped almost entirely, even though Wolf was early-day muscle and a trusted protector around Bad Boy. Gene paints Wolf as the guy who knew who handled what, who got paid, and what really happened at certain private events. The quiet details people avoid saying out loud. Wolf's killing, tied to a situation involving someone connected to BMF, is where Gene believes the bigger web shows up. Real danger, real networks, and real consequences, which he says the doc brushed past with a couple of photos and moved on. He suggests that's not an accident, more like a safety choice, because digging there could spark real-life problems nobody on a corporate platform wants. According to Gene, the omissions aren't random. They steer you to a safer, cleaner narrative and keep the hottest names out of the blast zone. He says he sat on receipts for years, but when the deal talk went sideways and respect felt low, he chose not to help the doc fill those gaps. And that's why, in his eyes, the story people saw was polished and incomplete. Now we're at City College, December 28th, 1991, the night that changed lives and started a legal shadow over everything that followed, according to Gene. This was a celebrity charity basketball event with Heavy D involved, big names like Mike Tyson and LL Cool J expected, and the building packed to the walls with energy and stress. Gene says his team was originally hired to manage outside security. 18 trained men, dogs, gates, the whole setup, because he knew how wild it could get when stars pull up in New York. But he claims that the day before the event, Diddy pulled him aside and said Heavy D didn't want his team anymore. So Gene's crew was removed from the job entirely.
It was Puff, Heavy D, and Jessica. You know what I'm saying? Jessica was the reason why those kids lost their life, because she locked the door on those kids running down the step. You understand? You could see her name in a news article, but they didn't mention nothing about her taking place, but they try to put Heavy D, God bless the dead, out there, and they put Puff out there. You know what I'm saying? She should have been the main one, because she is the one who locked the door on the kids. You understand? She is the one who locked the door on the kids, and all those kids lost their life.
When the night hit, Gene says the front entrance became a crush point, especially when Tyson and LL used the main doors instead of a back route. And that's when the surge began, turning stairwells into danger zones in seconds. This is where Gene drops the detail he says the doc ignored. A promoter named Jessica Rosenblum was involved that night, and Gene alleges that when the crowd surged, she focused on the cash box and locked the door at the bottom of the stairs, trapping hundreds of adults in a narrow space with nowhere to move. Jessica was the reason why those kids lost their life, because she locked the door on those kids running down this step, Gene said, speaking emotionally and using kids the way people do after tragedy, even though reports centered on adults. To be clear, these are Gene's allegations and memories, not findings by a court, and they're deeply disputed and sensitive, so handle with care. He says he couldn't reach the stairs because the bodies were packed wall to wall, so he ran the gym, fought other doors, and forced them open from inside. But by the time he got through, it was too late. Gene says he performed CPR on one victim reported at the time as a teenage attendee, but they didn't make it. And he remembers the older brother crying, saying, "This is the first time I ever took my little brother anywhere. My mom is gonna kill me," a moment Gene says still haunts him. Gene points out that Jessica's name appears in old reports as a promoter, but says she never faced consequences. Again, his claim. While the doc focused public blame debates mostly on Diddy and Heavy D, He also asked why his entire security team was allegedly removed the day before, a decision he believes changed the outcome when the surge hit. He says he tried to give the doc this full timeline: the removal, the doors, the chaos, the CPR, the witness accounts, but none of it made the final cut. He believes those choices kept the official version cleaner and a lot less explosive. So why did Gene really walk away, beyond the emotion and the history? And what did that do to the final story people saw on Netflix? He says he lined up a package deal: himself, Tim, and Kirk Burroughs. 3 angles that fit like puzzle pieces: childhood days, business guts, and street-level reality, which together would have built a clean timeline start to finish. But according to Gene, director Alex Stapleton told him his price was crazy for the 3-man package, even after he showed invoices from past docs paying him in that range. He says he got told flat out that 50 Cent doesn't control payouts or who gets in, and that his name was mostly there to market the project, which Gene took as disrespect to him and to 50's brand presence. Meanwhile, Gene says Kirk kept calling him to lower his number, while allegedly negotiating his own separate contract on the low. That's the industry. When money enters the chat, alliances get thin, and Gene decided he wasn't going to be part of that, so he left the project entirely. That's why, in Gene's view, the film feels incomplete, because the person who says he held the deep timeline didn't participate after feeling dismissed. He also points to who barely got covered: Kim Porter, Diddy's former partner and mother of 3 of his children, who passed in 2018 at 47, with the official cause listed as pneumonia, a loss that still hurts people close to her. Gene says he knew Kim personally from security work and that he had context about moments around her life that never made the screen, likely because it was considered too sensitive and risky to air. Again, that's his perspective on editorial choices. In the doc, she gets a quick mention and a couple of photos, then it moves on, which many viewers found surprising given how central she was to Diddy's life. Gene argues this is the pattern: strip out the hottest names, leave out the controversial connective tissue, and keep the narrative mainly on Diddy so the project trends without torching powerful circles. He believes the omissions weren't accidents, more like decisions, which keep the story safe and the blowback manageable. And he's blunt about it. In his mind, he could have taken the film deeper and riskier, but that wasn't what the platform wanted. He frames it as a choice between a viral doc and a dangerous one, and the platform picked viral. Another question Gene raises: where are the celebrity voices, the actors, artists, athletes, executives, and political names who packed Diddy's legendary parties for decades? If the story is nightlife and power, why aren't they talking on camera about what they saw, even carefully, unless they preferred to stay far away from the blast radius? Gene believes some high-profile figures wanted their names nowhere near any investigation or controversy, and he speculates some might have privately requested distance or paid for silence to protect families and careers, though there's no confirmed proof of those claims. He says 50 is a businessman first and didn't want to drag unrelated names. He wanted the focus clean. But that also means viewers probably got a polished version aimed squarely at Diddy and not the wider ecosystem. Look at Marlon Wayans' reaction when asked if he watched the doc. He said he hasn't and probably won't, calling it a narrative, adding that with the right editing, you can shape any story you want, and everybody's being programmed. That had people talking. Is he defending Diddy, saying it's biased, or just avoiding a mess because he's seen industry things and won't go public?
Marlon, have you seen that the documentary, the 50 Cent
No, I
documentary
haven't seen it yet.
for Diddy?
I haven't seen it.
Oh man, you working
Everybody
hard.
telling me you got to see it.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah,
Part of me don't want to see it
you probably don't.
because it's all skewed, man. Like when you put stuff together, you create whatever narratives you want to, and at the end of the day, everybody being programmed. You know, right now the man's serving time.
Right.
You know, he went before the court. The court said this, and everything is God. But God said this is what he got to do. He got to do 5 years in pen. Let him do his 5 years.
Then there's the most explosive piece of the Netflix rollout: the private hotel room footage of Diddy before his arrest, where he's on a call with his lawyer, reacting to media and strategizing his next move. According to public chatter, Diddy hired a videographer to document that period, which would usually mean those files are his property under NDAs. So how did 50's project end up with it? Diddy's lawyers reportedly hit Netflix with a cease and desist, calling the footage unauthorized and demanding removal. But Netflix pushed back, saying they got it through legal channels without naming the source. The videographer hasn't gone public in detail, So people floated theories, maybe a payment dispute, maybe a third-party leak. Speculation only, with no confirmed chain of custody. Gene has said Diddy sometimes had friction over paying people on time. His claim, which fuels one theory about how that footage surfaced. But again, none of that is verified, and it's important to keep it labeled as rumor and allegation. Either way, that material made the doc feel uniquely intimate and kicked off big legal smoke. Gene also mentions moments he says showed aggressive behavior. Again, his claims, including a story involving Misa Hilton feeling unsafe going out and him charging for protection hours to keep things calm if Diddy appeared. These anecdotes are personal accounts, not court findings, but Gene says they're part of a longer pattern insiders whispered about for years. The doc even features Eric Sermon's account. He says he was in a car with Misa when Diddy allegedly confronted her, claimed Diddy swung at her and told Eric to come around the corner to fight, and Eric says he left and went to listen to music.
How did you get that footage of Diddy?
I figured most journalists would not disclose their sources.
Does he know y'all have this in the doc?
I would doubt he knows.
So when this airs, that'll be the first time that his legal team, Diddy, that everybody knows that this footage is now seeing the light of day, perhaps?
Gene says that story blows his mind, because if someone gets confronted like that in your car, you step in. But again, these are personal narratives and not legal judgments. Then there's the hotel hallway clip involving Diddy and Cassie, the one that shocked the internet, which Gene says wasn't surprising to people who'd heard whispers for years. And the only new part was that a camera caught it and it leaked. He argues that one clip shifted public perception more than any interview could because video hits different and removes debate about context people might avoid. So what did Gene think of the Netflix project overall? He says he watched closely and found most of it to be familiar to insiders. The wild nights, the control, the messy incidents, packaged cleanly so regular viewers could follow. He says the only truly valuable piece was the private hotel footage before the arrest, because everything else felt like surface storytelling without the deeper machine exposed. From Gene's perspective, the platform wanted numbers, trends, and a focused villain, Diddy, while keeping anyone else with power out of the frame. He says plenty of people witnessed things, went quiet, or participated in behavior that deserved hard questions, and those names never appeared, which is why he calls the project incomplete. He stresses he's been telling these stories for years, on podcasts, interviews, and videos, before Netflix and before 50 stepped in, saying his timeline has been consistent even when it made people uncomfortable. He positions himself as the guy with receipts, photos, footage, and first-hand memories. But he also says that when he tried to bring the full blueprint, the business talk and respect level weren't right. That split between a viral, tidy doc and a messy, dangerous deep dive is the line Gene says the project refused to cross. He believes the public got a slice of truth while the power structure stayed protected, and that the missing voices, missing timelines, and missing names are the real story behind the story. In the end, Gene frames it like this. His account is allegation and memory, not a court verdict, but he's willing to stand on what he saw and what he kept. And if even part of what he's holding is accurate, the narrative people think they know might only be the trailer, not the movie. He says the rest is still sitting in the vault, waiting for the right way to be told.